Hey, what's up, gun nuts? It's Ferrari Steve, and today I'm going to do a product review of the Ghost Inc. Ghost Armorer's Kit for a Glock. Now, this is a little two-piece kit, not expensive, kind of interesting. Let's see if it's going to be any good. So, first thing we do is do a safety check. You check the magazine. We manually and visually inspect that it is empty, and it is. We're good to go. So what this is designed to do, I mean, obviously, one of the things it comes with, it's just a two-piece kit. You get a Glock tool, and you can never have too many Glock tools because you're going to lose one, you're going to bend one, and, you know, a Glock tool is really what you need. If you have a Glock and you don't have a Glock tool, then, well, you need to fix that, right? You know, for punching pins and doing stuff and fiddling with stuff and tweaking your Glock, and you obviously need a Glock tool. So this one, it's got the little Ghost logo on there, and it's shaped and designed very much like the factory tool. But really what's interesting about this little kit is this clear plastic thing with the Ghost Inc. logo on it, this little indent in the top. This is designed to go right here on this rear plate. And you'll notice it's not as tall as the stock one. That's by design. That's so you can fix stuff if you've broken stuff while you're trying to fix stuff. Let me demonstrate. So let's, again, we're clear, put in a safe direction. You have to dry fire a Glock to get it apart. Let's, I guess I can do this by leaving the barrel and everything in, but I'll take it all out just in case, because sometimes that can be part of a problem, right? If you take the barrel out and you accidentally put the gun back together, then you are kind of stuck unless you've got one of these. What this is designed for is if you're going to do any work on on the trigger. Here's the little cruciform part, and this makes contact with the striker right here, with the pin here. When those two, if you're doing any work on smoothing that out, and you're not supposed to change the geometry if you're polishing it and doing a 25-cent trigger job, but I know some of you do, and you pay the price by not being able to get the gun back apart. That's what this is designed to do. So before you do any polishing or tinkering with anything to do with the trigger or the striker, or even fitting an aftermarket striker, if you're one of those guys who likes the titanium strikers, I don't, but if you do, then you might want to consider this. This is going to save you some time. So to remove the stock plate here, you can do it a couple ways. The easiest way is to take your Glock tool, take the pressure off by pushing down here, and then just push the plate off with your finger, and then release the pressure. Nothing's going to come springing out right away. Okay, so this is the stock plate right here. You'll see little metal pieces on the side, and the rest is plastic, like most of the Glock. It's metal pieces and a lot of plastic, right? So here's your striker assembly, and we could take it all apart. We don't really need to, right, to put the new one in. The new one just slides in. You want the Ghost Inc. part facing out, and it just kind of slides in here, and you press down the assembly there, push it up, and then use your Glock tool to push this down, slide it up into place until it clicks. There you go. Now, when you reassemble the gun, so we'll reassemble it. And it's a Glock, so it doesn't take very long to reassemble, does it? When you put things back together, you look in the back here. Now, look, you can see into the guts of what's going on. So if you fire, you can see that, see it moving back toward you, and then boom, that's what happens. Let's try that again. You can see in there, see the little cruciform, which is lying flat and coming toward you, and the striker pin, the bottom part is down. When that, you know, when your trigger comes back and all the safeties are engaged and it knows you really want this to go, right there, it's going to slip underneath it, and the striker moves forward at enough velocity to ignite your cartridge. So I got a little bit wonky in there. Oh well, there we go. So what this is designed to do, let's say you're working on your trigger and you do something wrong, which, you know, if you don't know what you're doing is a very possible thing, and you pull the trigger and it doesn't go bang. Well, it shouldn't go bang. It doesn't go pop, right? You're screwed. You can now not get your slide off without removing this. I mean, you could do it. What you do is force this back, and then you have to hold this under tension and then remove this while you're doing it. It's too hard. It's a lot easier to have access underneath there. So one, you can inspect with it, right? You can inspect to make sure that what you're doing is actually doing what you want it to. You can see all the movement, and you can't do that with a stock piece because you can't see through plastic. And if you can, then you're Superman and you don't need a gun anyway. So what you could do is if you pull the trigger and it comes back and it doesn't drop, you can use your Glock tool to go in there, and at the very end where it's supposed to drop, you can force it down, which then dry fires the pistol, and then you can get it apart and keep tinkering. So if you're going to do any trigger work or work to your striker or want to tinker with your Glock at all, this really isn't that expensive. It's not a difficult part to install. It's not a difficult part to remove, especially since, unlike the orange Glock official one, the OEM one, Ghost Ink has this little notch there, which is kind of cool because it's the perfect size for your Glock tool to fit inside and then just push out. So watch that spring from popping up in your face. There you go. And then once the pressure's gone, you pull it down. Putting your new one in or putting your old one in is pretty simple. Again, push down the striker assembly, push down the spring here, and just slide it up into place till it clicks. And you are once again good to go. So is this worth getting? I mean, it's not really an upgrade, right? You're not changing the function of the pistol. It's something temporary that you need. And I argue you do need it. If you're not going to tinker with your Glock, you don't need it, so don't waste your money. But you really should have a Glock tool. You should know how to at least take certain things apart and know what's going on in your gun. And if you're someone who is just curious about seeing how it's happening, yeah, get this. It's clear plastic, and the bottom is wide open, and you can kind of see it. Don't use the gun for real with this in there. That's just stupid. But go ahead and use it if you want to tinker or fiddle or polish or do anything that could risk the ability for the striker to not strike when you pull the trigger, because it can bail you out of a jam for very, very cheap. So I recommend this. I'm glad I got it. Haven't had to use it yet because I haven't screwed anything up, but it's kind of one of those insurance things. If you get it, you'll probably never need it, but if you don't, you probably will. This is Ferrari Steve thanking you for watching, reminding you that a dirty Glock is a happy Glock. Get out there, use them, practice, so that the first time you have to use your gun is not the first time you have used your gun. Stay safe out there.